This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, hello guys. Let's start our session for today. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Thakur. Okay, so I'm having around 11 years of experience. Overall IT experience is around 11 plus years, and I'm certified into Red Hat as well as certified as ethical hacker. Also done my certification in AWS as a solution architect. Okay, when I speak to DevOps tools, so I am experienced into various configuration management tools like Ansible, Puppet, Chef, many more like SaltStack also. And when I speak about CI/CD tools, I'm very much experienced in Git, Jenkins, TeamCity, Octopus. Okay, and I'm also working on various tools like Docker, Maven, and Nexus, etc. Okay, so these are some of the tools which have been working, which are very popular in the market. Okay, other than this, I do work on various tools also. So just giving an overview that I've been working on these tools from uh, almost 11 years. Okay, so before just starting, I just want to know a brief intro about your people, like what is your background and what you do, so that I get an idea that what are my students all about and what are the areas I need to concentrate on more, and which you're good at, and I can give some tips if required. So that would be great if you could, share a brief intro about yourself, and then we'll continue our rest of the session.
Hi,
Uh,
Thakur. Can you hear me?
yes, Gopal, but bit low.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Myself, Gopal, and I completed my BTech in information technology. I came from a computer background, and I worked for 4 years until past 6 years, 6 months on manual testing. And after that, due to the layoff, I need to leave the job. So I am here for learning new things and getting on track. So that's it from mine. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brahmatej Parchuri.
Okay.
I have done my bachelor's in mechanical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Canada for my post graduation.
Mm-hmm.
I have done my post graduation in manufacturing management.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say this, I don't have any background towards IT software industries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have worked here as a quality engineer that comes onto the manufacturing field itself.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to move into software industry. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to learn course DevOps. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Gopal, what was your background? Like, you work for which technology?
Actually, manual testing. Thakur.
Manual testing. Okay.
Yeah.
And how about the others? Koteshwar Rao, Purnima, and Uday?
Hi, this is Udaini. I work as a UI developer in a banking firm.
Mm-hmm.
My background, I have a master's degree in electrical engineering, but I'm
Okay.
working in the UI.
Mm-hmm.
And on a day-to-day basis, I use DevOps like a consumer, but I want to know deep inside how to develop all the build jobs and what is
Okay.
DevOps. So
Okay.
that is the reason I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, Koteshwar Rao.
Hi, myself, it's Kotesh Rao. I have done my bachelor's in electronic and communication, and I did my PG on mobile application developments.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been into the software field so far. So this is my first
Mm-hmm.
step to software, and I am much interested into DevOps.
Okay.
And let's see how it goes, and hopefully it will give a easy task to me.
Yeah, sure, sure. I'm here to make it easy. Not a worry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. About you, Purnima? Yeah, Purnima. Okay. See, you don't worry that I'm not into software or I'm from a different background. So let me tell you myself, I'm also a commerce background graduate. Okay, so I've done my business management and plus two was for maths, and then I jumped into software. So it's not a big deal. The only thing which you require to learn DevOps is you should have interest to learn new tools. That is the first bullet point. And second thing is you should have some patience, understand the things, and work as much as possible. Okay, learn the tools, put some time, effort, and learn this. Okay, if you have any questions, then you can come to me. I'll be helping you. At least put 2 to 3 hours of effort every day on the tools which we explain. See, my session would be for 1 hour. So whatever I teach, that would max take you to practice at least 15 to 20-25 minutes at max. That would be taking time, but still I tell you to practice it for 2 to 3 hours every day. Try to understand how this happens. Try, if not this, if I do in this way, what will happen? In this way, you have to explore yourself. Then only you will be learning the technology. Since you people are completely new to this environment, then effort would be much more required from your side. And I'm here to help you. If any question you have, not to worry, you can come to me at any time. I'll be taking care of it. Okay, it was good to hear from you all. Let's see how things go. Okay, so first we will try to understand what was the previous way of development. Okay, so some of you are not into this industry, so just I'll give you an intro how the code was being developed and how new product been introduced into the market here. Okay, so first we'll try to understand how things were pre-DevOps era. Okay, so how was the old-fashioned development? First, what we used to have is we used to have the developers who write their piece of code, build that application, and give it to the testing people. Okay, so what testing people used to do? Testing people used to take the knowledge transfer, what the application is all about, and how does it work, a basic overview of that application, and they do start testing that application. So once the developers push their code to the testing team, then they hand off saying that okay, we are done, we are no more responsible with that application. Okay, testing people do the testing. If there are any bugs, any kind of issues with that application, then they reach the developers and they try to fix that, and they again give it to the testers. So once testing is done, they release that applications. So here even these people hand off the application to release team. Okay, and release team try to deploy into the live servers, and they hand it over to the operation team. Okay, this is just a brief overview how things go here, but there are some waterfall model and some other models which where we'll be discussing in detail. So here what happened is once the release team also hands this off to the operation team, they also not bothered about what is happening with the application. And when the operation people try to deploy in the production server, okay, production or live server is where that actual application is been given to the end user. End user start using in the production servers. Okay, so here once the operation people start using, if they get any kind of issue, then they have to run back to the developers. Okay, and the developers say that no, we have already given to the testing and everything was done working fine with all the environments. The problem with your environment, you have to take care of it. So in this way, there used to have a lot of dispute between multiple teams, and there was no proper communication between all the teams. So it used to take a lot of time to develop that application and go live. If they have any new feature requested by the end customer, then that would be a big problem for them. Okay, so this was a very painful method of developing an application. In most of the places, still this process has been followed. Okay, now let's see the problems with the old methodology. Developers start the development and provide the artifacts. Artifacts is nothing but that the piece of code, the final application. Okay, they call it as artifacts. QA start testing, followed by raising the defects as they come across any bug. So here the application which was developed by the various coders, that will be handed over to the QA. QA is nothing but quality assurance team. They call it in other ways testing team also. Okay, so these people try to find any defects and they raise the bugs if they find any. As soon as the QA starts logging the defect, a developer starts complaining about the environment. They say that it's working on my machine. Okay, so this is the common dialogue which will be listening from the various developers. They say that no, it is working on my machine. Check your environment, check your server where you are trying to run it. It worked properly on my machine. So in this way, the argument starts between the various teams. So eventually the issue gets worked out, and then the project gets ready for the live deployment. Somehow they try to fix the problem and make sure that application is bug free. Once the application has been handed over to the operations team. So here we are speaking about this team. So from coders push it to the testers, they fight here, finally try to fix that problem, and they release that application and give it to the operations team. Okay, operations guy deploy the artifact on the production, and the website stops working. Here again you can use either ARTI or ARTE. One is the British slang and one is the US slang. Okay, either of them is a correct word. So here on the production server, the application stops working. Again, the operations teams points out to the developers that there is some issue in your artifacts and they have provided the faulty artifact. Okay, again developer says that no, this is not my problem. All the allegations are giving are wrong, and they defend themselves saying that it is an environment issue as artifacts worked fine in dev and test environments. Since the test team also has approved that application, there are two teams like dev team and test team. They have approved the application. So when it works in my environment and testing environment, then that's problem from your side. It's not problem from my side. That is what they defend here. Developers take a step back by pointing out ops guy that prod is the operations environment and ops guy need to fix the issue. They say that this is not my problem, this is your problem. Try to fix it in your environment. Why? Because it worked on the multiple various environments and finally it has come to you. So in this way, they used to fight it. So there's always a wall of confusion. They have a fight among themselves. The development people and the testing team say that no, it worked for us, it's not my problem, and operations blame saying that no, it is not my problem, it is your problem. So in this way there is always a fight between the development team and operations team. Okay, so now in this wall of confusion, there are some responsibilities which have been shared by the both the teams. So basically, overall, in old-fashioned way, we have two teams available. One is a development team and operations team. Okay, so you might heard many teams like DB team, testing team, okay, IT team, development team. Okay, so you have multiple teams available, but broadly all these teams have been segregated and made it into two different teams. One is development team and operations team. Okay, so these people development team are responsible for developing the new features and giving it on time. Next, they are product oriented, so they feel that they have to enhance the existing features and develop the new features. They think about innovation. Okay, how a new product can be developed, that is what they think about. Okay, and whereas the operations team, they think about the stability. They feel that if the application is working fine, okay, then only they can survive in the market. Okay, if always they have been given a new build, they have to monitor it continuously and make sure that there is no bugs or application is not faulty. Okay, why? Because they are the first people that are to be answered to the customer. If any issue is being faced by the customer, that is will be escalated to the operations team only. They are responsible to handle that issue, and they are purely service oriented. Okay, they make sure that application is 100% up. And you have something called as a rationalization is nothing but they have multiple applications and they have to make sure that all are even and working properly. Okay, so here we have something like database, we have application, we have many other internal services which are to be monitored. When you speak about a project, it's not consist of a single application. That would be a combination of multiple applications. Okay, they will be having around 5 to 6 applications at least, who will be coordinating or in sync with each other and working, and make sure that they work properly in order. That is what the operations team are meant to do. So in this way, if development people gives on new features, then that becomes difficult for them to manage the service. Okay, so this is what about your old method of development. There are a lot of problems here in the old development models. So when we speak about software development life cycle, okay, so we have something called as a SDLC. We might have heard this word during our engineering. Okay, so here software development life cycle is nothing but we have multiple ways to develop a software. Okay, every model has their own problem. You might have heard waterfall model, you have heard agile model, you might have heard fish model, and there are multiple models available in the market. Okay, every problem, every product, every life cycle, every method has their own drawbacks. Okay, so when you speak about current market, okay, so we have a lot of challenge in our current market. What is the challenge is the requirement changes very dynamically. Okay, every new new day there is a new feature and new way of getting the things done. Okay, so previously we used to have mobile websites. Now even for every small thing we demand apps, and again in apps we require many features. Okay, so that is the very dynamic nature of a current market. If you speak of any service, now it has become an application, a mobile application, an Android application, and an iOS application. So in this way, every application requires some dynamic content. Okay, that is nothing but the software which is running behind it. So we deploy in a server, and that application fetches the data from the server and displays on your mobile screen. Okay, so they require very high challenging and dynamic features. So to sustain in current market, any of your model will not help you to get into the market and survive. So to solve these problems, you have something called as a DevOps. Okay, DevOps is a methodology which helps you to get your software reliable, deliver it faster, and based on the user demand, it can help you to survive in the market. So any questions here before going into DevOps? So if you have any questions, let me know. All good? Guys? No questions?
No.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, okay. So let's see, what do you mean by a DevOps? So it's a common jargon, or we might have heard the common word, or at least when you have googled it on internet, you might have heard that it is a combination of a development team and operations team. Yes, it is a combination of a development team and operations team. There are multiple cultures available in a DevOps. So here as I said earlier, so it has been segregated. All the teams are been segregated into two teams. One is the development team and the operations team. So here, what are all the multiple teams which we have that have been combined together and made it as a single team, and they call it as a developers. My mistake. They call it as a DevOps team. Okay, DevOps is a culture which promotes collaboration between development and operations team to deploy code into production faster in an automated and repeatable way. So here, all the teams which we have here, this all are being made it as a single team. So basically what happens is, whenever in old fashion, whenever the client gives a requirement, they are the developers who interact with the client and check the feasibility and develop that code. And here the other teams like a QA team, okay, the operations team, the development DB team, the IT team, they don't have much interaction when compared to the your coders. Okay, so here what they have done is, so from day one they have included each and every team member, right from the developers, the coders, to the operations and maintenance team who take care of that application. From day one they have been involved into that project, so that they get enough exposure about the client requirement. so that all the teams will be on a same page, so that they will be in sync, and there will be no issues with the application understanding. Okay, the word DevOps is a combination of two words, development and operations. Okay, so here the development and testers team has been added, and with the operations team, and they made it as a single team called as a DevOps. The older way was a linear way, where the transfer of that application and knowledge would be in a linear way, and none are responsible once it have been handed over to the other teams. But here this works in a different way. Here there is a circle, there is a cycle happening, where all the teams coordinate with each other and work. Yes, coders are bit different. uh, Coders can be part of your DevOps team also, but there is a small kind of a contradiction here. The If you want to become into a coding part, that is a completely different. Okay, so just 20% of that complete life cycle is at the development part, okay, the core application developers, and rest everything is been handled by your DevOps people. Okay, though we have made it as a single team, but still internally it is a bit kind of differentiation happening, where the 20% of the core work is been handled by the developers, and rest is can be handled by everyone. So here we don't have any specialization like a Linux administrator, an IT administrator, or a DB administrator, DB developer, okay, an operation guy, okay, a release guy. Okay, you don't have this kind of differentiation in the new methodology. Yet we have the coders have been always placed differently, but yet they can be part of your DevOps team also. They also can take care of the rest of the responsibilities. Okay, so here everyone will be working together, and they will be putting effort to release that application. Okay, so here when and where possible, they will be using multiple tools for automating. Why we are automating? Because we have multiple reasons here. Okay, we'll speak about that one also. DevOps resolves the various challenges by establishing collaborative cross-functional teams who share the responsibility of keeping all the different environments up to date. So here, what we mean here, collaboration of a cross-functional team is the team like testing team, the IT team, operations team, okay, the developers, the build and release engineers, all these are cross functional teams, where they come together, they make it themselves as a one team, and make sure that and take responsibility that all the environments are working fine and are synced with the similar fashion. The developer's machine should be similar to the tester's machine, and the tester's machine should be similar to the various QAM environment and other environments like staging, pre-prod, and prod servers. Okay, in this way, what are all the environments we are using? Make sure that all are having same kind of environment. They don't miss any single software also. Okay, up to date, and preparing the software to run all the environments without any issue, and enhance productive feedback. So when and where required, they take that feedback and make sure that our environment is stable and similar in all the environments. So that was the first challenge which will be eliminated. Okay, let's see the benefits of a DevOps. System readiness and stability. It's an important aspect in a DevOps, since DevOps is all about providing stability to software development. DevOps encourages to encourage the environment ready during the development process, which makes sure that the code and environment are tested together at the earliest stages of the project. So first major problem is the environment. So here basically the developer's environment would be hardly his own desktop or laptop where he will be developing his application, and sometimes there will be a scenario where they will be given a server, a developer's machine, where they can test their application. So the hardware and the compatibility would be very less when compared to the other environments. Okay, and testers environment would be bit higher, and similarly the pre-prod or staging environment would be a bit higher end, and finally the production server would be at very high end. So here you will be hearing this word called pre-prod staging environment. These environments are nothing but these are the clone of your production environment. So they may have multiple applications where all these applications are integrated together, and they run as a single application, and they test the complete application as a single software, and they see how it will be working so as to simulate for the production environment. That is called as your pre-prod or staging. Both are sound same, people call it in a different way. Okay, and everything goes fine, then they finally shift it to the production server. Okay, so all this environment should have a similar fashion softwares, all the prerequisites kind of stuff there. Next, error detection as early as possible. This is one of the main goals of DevOps. DevOps implementation will definitely help in detecting the errors in early cycles of development, which reduces the developer's effort debugging and issue in the later stage of development. So the first point, if you see here, system readiness and stability. Let's say you are running a Java based application. Okay, and there are some softwares associated for this. One of them is JRE. Okay, Java runtime environment, that has to be installed so that the Java application runs properly, and that application might be reading with a database. Okay, again you need a something called as a JDBC ODBC connector, which connects your Java application with a database connection. So these kind of prerequisite softwares are to be installed. So these applications stop running, there can be n number of reasons. If your system is stable and ready, then some of the problems are all eliminated automatically. Then you can easily identify that, okay, this is not the problem of system, this is the problem of application. So in this way, if you maintain a proper synchronization between all the environments, the issue will be easily identified and it can be fixed as early as possible. Faster mean time to recovery, it is called as MTTR in fixing the releases. DevOps enables the practice of producing frequent rapid deployments with low failure rate and the shortest recovery time. So what happens here, basically developers develop that application and then that is been built. Okay, then it has been tested. So every process, where and where possible, we are trying to automate it. So here, once you have automated, then a number of builds will be following, it will be followed the same fashioned process. Okay, when you even compare to the manual intervention, there might be chances of missing of the steps and the application may not work properly. So here the failure rate would be very less. Okay, if there are even if failure, then the application will be automatically identifying the problem and it will be giving you the report that there is a problem at so and so end. So that would be easy for you to fix it. Next, redemption from work on my machine philosophy. So since the system readiness is been managed, then there will not be the problem of works on my machine issue. DevOps helps in removing the obstacle continuous flow of software delivery by containerization, on demand servers, etc. So here this is the major breakthrough, I can say that, the containerization and on demand server and serverless applications, all these new technologies will eliminate the problem of works on my machine kind of thing. Deliver the promised features to the customer. Then promised features aren't delivered on time and people start leaving the products that actually decrease the revenue of the company. DevOps helps in making sure that the customers are getting all the features on time. See, the major problem always in software industry is customer gives you some X number of features which to be developed. Okay, but as time passes on, he keeps on adding the new features. So it becomes difficult for a company, for a project manager to accommodate all those new changes with the existing architecture. Okay, so if you use the DevOps concepts, then it will help you to um, get even add the new features on demand. Whenever a customer demand new features, that can be delivered even in the promised timestamp. Okay, that requires a lot of planning. Again, that's a different story. Okay, but yes, you can accommodate the new changes even after the all the features, all the requirements have been freezed, yet you can give the customer the new features as requested. Works with all the industries. Now, if you speak about a single industry, you can say that no, it is not only applicable to a single industry. You can adopt it to as many industries as possible. DevOps can be adopted and implemented in every type of industry, which helps in building the right product every time with fewer efforts and improving the quality. It predetermines the awful outcomes, which helps in both small and large organizations. Product-based companies across the uh, every type of industry. So we have product-based services and product-based companies and service-based companies. So whatever the industry type it might be, yet you can implement some principles of your DevOps concepts into that industry, and it can be a larger company or it can be a very small company. Irrespective of that, you can implement the DevOps concepts into your day-to-day life. Reduce developers' workload. Developers must focus on delivering the promised features rather than spending time on non-functional requirements such as tools configuration, integration, infrastructure manageability, scalability, reliability, security, etc. So basically, the main role of a developer is to write a piece of code and give it to the other team. Okay, but here, when we speak about the old-fashioned way, the old methodology, the developer has to fix many of the problems of the other teams. The problems, especially, is like the prerequisites of running the software. Okay, and how to integrate with the multiple applications. Okay, if you want to run it on a large number, how to do it. Okay, there are a lot of problems that are to be answered by a developer, because he is the sole owner of the application and he know how his application works, and other teams are dependent on them. So this will be adding the burden to that developer. Since we are following the DevOps methodology, we don't have a specific kind of team and all work together, and from day one they have the knowledge of the complete project. And here we will be using multiple tools that will be helping the all the teams to work in a smoother way. Okay, and we have some more benefits here. Okay, so these are these are the specific for respect to the software development and deploying that application, but here we will see overall benefits of the using the DevOps concepts in your day-to-day life. The first one is accelerated time to market. Since the market is very dynamic, the DevOps will help you to match the requirement of the current market. Next, ability to build a right product every time. So here the key tool here is using the various automation tools here. So this will help you to minimize all the errors, issues, and everything will be working as per the requirement and will be giving the right product on the right time. Better infrastructure resource management. All the resources would be properly utilized using these concepts. Increased deployment frequency. Since you want to accelerate to market, match up the requirements of the market, and we are automating as much as possible, the deploying of new features would be much more when compared to the old fashioned methodology. See, these are the benefits over the old fashioned development, not in a generic way. Okay, next, minimized lead time between the releases and the regular fixes. So here, release is a different thing and fixing is a different thing. Release is where you newly introduce your software into the market, and fix is nothing but if you found any bugs inside that product which have been go live, or you are adding new features, they are called as a fixes. Okay, so we are trying to put some enhancement on the existing release, that is called as a fix. Improved productivity and efficiency. Okay, team dependencies are mediated. There is no such dependencies because we have proper handover of knowledge and proper sharing of knowledge between various people, and we have everywhere automated, so there will be less dependency on the various teams. Ability to deliver reliable releases. Okay, since automation is our main energy here, our strength here, so we will be delivering the releases which are very reliable and stable. Reduced human effort. Since again, as peak automation, there will be minimal human intervention, so therefore we will be having less errors. Improved product quality. Okay, and finally the improved customer satisfaction. So these are some of the benefits there. See, every coin has two sides. First thing we need to understand, DevOps not only has the benefits, yet it have some problems. Okay, I don't call it as problems. I say it as the transitioning from a old-fashioned method to DevOps. We have some challenges. Okay, let's see what are those. choice of tools which are difficult to integrate and not compatible. That is a major problem. First thing, you need to understand which tool you need to get into your application. Okay, so there are multiple tools available here in the market, and which would be the best tool for you is the biggest question mark. If you choose a wrong tool, then you will be in the problem. That is the main problem here. Management is not ready to adapt the new change. See, the thumb rule of any software industries, if it is working fine, don't touch it. That is the main thumb rule which people follow it. And when you speak about at management level, they are not ready to accept the new change. Why? Because they are not sure how that application would be behaving when you adapt those changes, and therefore the customer will be uh, raising a concern, and he will be losing the business. That's the main reason they will not be ready to adapt the new change. Next is time constraint. So see, when you are trying to adapt the new technology, obviously you require a lot of time to make sure that that is working fine and it's working better than the existing methodology which have been followed. So this will be taking some time to get adapted and make sure that these are foolproof. Next is no clear plan. First thing is you need to have end-to-end knowledge of which tool to be used and where to be used. Okay, so if you don't have that proper planning, then you will be in soup. You should be very clear. Next is application complexity. How complex that application is more important to understand. Okay, so whenever you are trying to adapt a new tools, then there will be some changes at the developing point of view also. Okay, again, developers should be trained to use how to get used to that application, the tools which are going to use for automation. They used to adapt themselves according to that tool, and they have to modify their code. Okay, so if the application is very huge, then the complexity of that application may be a hurdle for you in adapting that respective tool. Moving from legacy infrastructure to DevOps scalable infrastructure. So basically, what do you mean by infrastructure is nothing but the hardware. Okay, the data center where your application is been deployed. So here, when you speak about DevOps, we have the more commonly used tool is the cloud. Instead of the old fashioned data center, cloud is the more hit product these days. So moving from the old infrastructure to new way is a bit challenging. Okay, it takes a lot of efforts, and migrating that application will take a lot of time for you. All these obstacles are pretty common in adapting the DevOps for any organization. However, this can be resolved by following the DevOps best practices. Sorry. So how to solve this problem is also been considered here. Okay, so when we speak in detail about when you start the using the DevOps tool, when I give the introduction to various kind of the jargons, what are the existing models and what are the new models, then I'll be explain you how to overcome these problems, what are the best practices for this. Okay, so this should not be a big problem. Yes, it will be taking some time to get adapted, but yet that should not be a hurdle. Okay, now let's say something called as agile versus DevOps. You might have been hearing that agile model is very hit, and DevOps is going to replace the agile kind of thing. Actually, that's not true. Okay, so people often compare agile with the DevOps and says that DevOps replaces the agile. It's not true. DevOps can be considered as a logical continuation of agile journey. So basically, what agile is all about is agile is all about the development of that application. They more focus on the how the application will be designed, whereas a DevOps will be taking care of complete end-to-end process. Okay, right from planning of that application to the maintenance of that application, everything is covered in the DevOps. Whereas in agile methodology, they focus only on how faster the application can be developed. It's the only thing. So you can say that your agile methodology is part of your DevOps. Okay, agile principles are associated to planning and development of software. Okay, they take care of only these things: plan how to build the plan, how to build that application, and find and they develop that application. Whereas DevOps deals with planning, development of the software along with the deployment with automated testing the set software to and deliver it accurate, stable, reliable product every time with a proper feedback loop. So here there are a lot of things when compared to the agile. You can see in the logo, see they start with the plan, design, develop, test, release, and take that feedback. This is the continuous loop which happens, and this purely focus on the development of the application. Whereas the DevOps, you see here, you plan, you code, you build, you test, you release, you deploy, you operate, you monitor. Again, if they is required, they plan, they code and build. In this way, this is a loop happening. So this loop is completely different from this loop. Yes, there are some of the things which have been covered here. So here the agile method of development is something different. When we speak about old fashioned development, what happens is we develop that complete application as a single application. But when we speak about agile, what they do is, if client, let's say, ask you for 100 features, so what they do in agile method of development is they prioritize what are the features which are important, and they deprioritize the other features. So they prepare a list and they divide them into chunks. Let's say if there are 100 features, they divide the 100 features into some small chunks. Let's say 10 features. So they divide into 10 chunks, and they first prioritize on the first 10 features and try to develop it and deliver to the market. And second chunk and third chunk. In this way, they develop the application in chunks. So what is the benefit of this is, if clients ask for any kind of change in between, then that is very easy for you to make that change, when compared to the old fashion where there you develop the application as a single application. Here you you develop that application in a distributed manner. So even if the newly developed application, if the client says no, this is not the right one which I have asked you, and you need to change this thing, that would be very easy for you to make that changes. So in this way, the agile development will help you to build a beautiful product with less bugs. Whereas the DevOps, it will be agile development and plus the rest of the automation for the complete other life cycle part. So this is what how the agile development has been adapted into the DevOps. Agile process is now the most essential parts of your successful DevOps practice. Now let's see the DevOps life cycle. So already I have shown you the logo here, how the things go, and for every process, every option, you have some tools associated to it. So for planning, you have some tools available. Okay, for coding, you have some tools available. For build, test, release, deploy, operate, monitor. In this way, for every process, you have one tool. Every part of your cycle has some tools associated. Now the question is, do I need to learn all these tools? My answer is no. Why? Because when you speak about deploying an application, or when you speak about the configuration management, so you have multiple tools available. Let's speak about the configuration management and application deployment. So you have tools like Ansible, Puppet, Chef, SaltStack, etc. Okay, so do I need to learn all these tools? No. So if you learn, if you are good at any one tool, then rest of the tools would be very easy to understand. Okay, like say Ansible. Ansible has been developed in Python. Okay, whereas your Chef and Puppet are developed in the Ruby. Okay, the overall concept of Ansible, Puppet, Chef, all are same. Okay, the only difference is how you write your application. Okay, the syntax of Ruby is different from the syntax of Python. So it doesn't mean that you need to now learn Python followed by the Ruby. No, just understand how you call that application in that respective tool is enough. You be proficient with any of one tool for that respective part of your life cycle, then you are done with it. Okay, that would be very easy for you to adapt you to the new technology. Okay, so don't get feared looking at all these tools here. These are just naming some tools. So, and one more important thing is, never feel that okay, if these are the only tools which will be used. Okay, no, any tool which can be used for automating and just decrease your burden can be part of your DevOps. Okay, that's what, it's very dynamic. You should have a zeal to learn new tools. That is what the main requirement of your DevOps. When you are going into DevOps, yes, there are hundreds of tools available, and in your current company you might be using Git, and some other you might be using a Bitbucket. Somewhere you will be using SVN. somewhere you will be using clear case. Okay, the naming convention would be different, but 80 to 90% of the core technology would be same. So you need to understand the rest of the 15 to 20% of things that may not take you much time. It's again based on how good you are, how good your grasping is all about. So the main question is, who can become a DevOps engineer? Okay, I'm a developer. Can I become a DevOps engineer? I'm a tester. Can I become a DevOps engineer? I'm into operations. Can I become a DevOps engineer? Yes. Anyone who is in the software development or system operations can be a DevOps engineer. So basically, this is not only to this so-called two teams. Okay, uh, irrespective of what the field you are coming from, you can become a DevOps engineer. I myself is a live example, which I've been working for almost 11 years. Okay, basically from a commerce background. Yeah, I have put that effort, I have learned the technology, and I have proved myself, and now I'm successfully working as a DevOps engineer. Not only in Linux based operating systems, there are some tools associated to the Windows also. So I've been working in both the environments. Okay, so only difference is just you need to have that clarity that okay, this is tool is this way and this tool is this way. Oh, this is the only difference, that you need to have that clarity. Yes, you read it right. To become a DevOps engineer, you don't need to have a formal education or career track. Okay, only IT engineers or CSC background or IT background can become or qualified for this. There are many people. I have seen my colleagues who are working as a DevOps engineer whose background is civil engineering. Okay, even the chemical engineering, mechanical engineering. There are people who have been working. The only effort they require is getting a proper hands-on on the tools and be able to deliver whenever anyone asks you that concept. That is the only thing required. And you are on day one itself, you will not be working on it. First you will be given a proper exposure to the environment. The tools will be explained. Okay, we have these tools, we'll be using these tools in this way. They will be giving you the proper time to get adjusted to the tools. So even if you're lacking at any tool, you will be having enough time to work on that tool and learn. At least there will be 2 to 3 months of time based on again kind of company you are into. If you are working for a huge MNC, then you will be getting more time. If you have started with a small company with 100 150 employees, then you may get a very less time compared to the MNC. Okay, yet you will be getting time to get adjust yourself, and you will not be set to go into work on a day one. Okay, so we will put an effort so that we will try to simulate ourselves with the complete environment with all the tools here. Okay, so what are the skills required? So experience with the system and IT operations. You need to understand. Okay, so if you are a fresher, okay, agreed. You will be having some concession over the consideration of all the environment. If you are experienced, they will be expecting something more from you people. So if you have experience with the system and IT operations, that is an added advantage to you. If not, I'm here to give you that exposure. Okay, should be comfortable with frequent incremental code testing, and deployment should be able to adapt the ever changing environment. So here we follow the agile development, where we'll be getting the more builds frequently. Even you can expect 3 to 4 builds every day. Okay, so you should be able to handle those change requests. You should be able to do that release. You should be able to do the deployment and coordinate with the various teams. Strong grasp of automation tools. Okay, so sometimes you may be even given the responsibility to do R&D on the new tools and make sure that it will be suiting our environment. That kind of task may also be given to you. Next, strong emphasis on business results. So you should be able to deliver the business. Okay, so the main concepts of applying the various tools is so as to sustain in the market and achieve the results as per the business requirements. Okay, so you should be have that focus, and you should work from that perspective. That is what they mean here. Ability to work in a team and make them all work together. So you basically, DevOps is nothing but your teamwork. Okay, so everyone will be involved. The people will be having various backgrounds, various experience. Okay, you should be able to mingle with everyone, use their experience, and work along with them. You should be comfortable with collaborations, communications, and reaching ability beyond their functional areas. Now you feel that this is my functional area and I'm not bothered about that other guy's work. No, you should not have that kind of mindset here. You should be able to work across your functional area. If even you are not part of that functional area, you should have that ability to put your efforts in. So here I see here more kind of what you call your emphasis on that. So if you are good at multiple things, then you become an asset for a company. Okay, so a guy who is good at multiple functions, like you can do the release, you can do the test, you can monitor the application, you can write a code. Okay, you can do R&D on a new application. If you are good at multiple skills, then company will be more benefiting from you. They will be investing less and they will be getting more profit. So in this way you will have your own dependency and you will be the hot cake in the company. So you will have lot of value. So always make an effort that you work across your functional areas. So you should have Linux and Windows or hybrid command line knowledge. You should be able to work across the various operating systems also. Okay, so here we'll be covering the Linux part here, so that should not be a worry. And Windows, it's not that much required. Why, I'll tell you when we speak about that various tools. Must be able to understand and utilize a wide variety of open source technologies and tools. So here company want to put less investment and get more profit. So here DevOps tools, most of the tools are the open source tools. So what do you mean by open source tools is those tools are free to use. Okay, you need not pay for using those tools. So since you are using some automation tools which are free and you can get best results, so companies put more emphasis on those kind of tools. So you should be able to adapt those kind of tools and start customizing those tools as per your requirement. You should have that capability. Knowledge of coding and scripting, if you're having this knowledge, then it is an adding benefit to you. If not, at least you should have the basic scripting knowledge. So there is a difference between scripting and writing a code. Okay, scripting is something different from coding. Okay, in a generic terms both are same, but when you speak technically, uh, Java, C++ are these are the programming languages. Okay, so they may basically call it as a coding languages. Okay, and you have something like shell scripting, Python, Perl. These are scripting languages. So what is the difference between these two is they add these scripting languages add an asset and add on to the programming languages. Like say you have small requirements, then you can take the help of scripting languages and you can work on it. Okay, let's say your application requires some data to be processed. Okay, that data might be in some files. Okay, and you want to dump it into the database. So the best will be to use a scripting language to process the data and dump it into your database. You can use some scripting language help and you can do it. And most of the open source tools basically in backend are been developed using the scripting language like Python, Ruby. Okay, so these are some mixed kind of hybrid thing. You can call it as uh, especially the Python, you can call it as a programming come a scripting language, because Python has the ability to use the object oriented programming, which is the core heart of your programming language. The Python has that feasibility to write your application in an object oriented manner. Okay, now let's see something interesting part here. So DevOps engineer salaries in India. Okay, so this is an average salaries. This has been taken from 915 salaries. Okay, and I've taken it from the Glassdoor. Okay, this was latest updated on 11/4, which is 2 days ago. So when you compare, the average base salary of a DevOps engineer is 750K per year. And when you speak about other salaries, you can see the for Linux administrator it is around 31K. And for these are the various salaries of various engineers. Okay, so here and the pay scale says that average development operations the DevOps engineer salaries India is 685,000 per annum. Okay, so this is around 750 given by the Glassdoor, and this is around given by your pay scale. Okay, and LinkedIn says that it is around 7 lakhs. So if you see on an average, the salary is same for all the sites are giving the same information. The median salary, sorry. the median salary is somewhere around 7 lakhs. So the salary would be ranging from 2 lakhs 65,000 to around 16 lakhs. Again, this is based on the experience you have, and there's some companies which may even give you the annual bonus of around 65,000 per year. Okay, what is the pay by experience level for the development operations engineer? So this has been given by the pay scale. This says that if you have around 1 year or less than experience up to 20 years, the salary range would be 364K to 2 million. So based on again the kind of company you are, the kind of experience, the communication skills you have, it will be based on the multiple factors. The salary would be ranging from 3.64K to 2 million. Okay, let's see some more information from the various sites. Okay, let's see this. So if you see here, the popular employer salary for development operations engineer, TCS gives around 550K. Amazon.com gives you around 1 million. So in this way, we have the top companies which will are paying this much of salaries for a DevOps engineer. So here, what are the various skills that affect the DevOps engineer salary is also the criteria. If you are good at Kubernetes, then there will be a 20% of more salary hike. So these are the various tools which are being used here. You can see the trend which is being used. The Docker is nowadays not much used, so there is no more requirement of these tools here. Okay, so there is a bit hike of in various tools like cloud computing, Python here. In this way, you can see the trend here. So in this way, you can go through here. So what are the popular skills for the DevOps engineer? So for a DevOps skills here, they require my mistake. Sorry. So the around 1,252 people says that DevOps is more popular. Obviously, we're speaking about DevOps here. Like AWS has around 4 rating out of 5 for the out of the 922 responses. So in this way, we can see the information and pay per location. If you see here, Haryana, Gurgaon, here they says that there is around 19% of demand more in the city of Haryana. Here in the Gurgaon, they are asking you the more for 19%. There is an increase for the DevOps engineer. So in this way, you can see here various experience levels, what is the salary given. So this is given by the pay scale. Now let's see with respect to the Glassdoor. Stop responding. Okay, so let's see the salary given by the DevOps engineer by the companies here. So here also you get any various information, but every site has their own algorithm for getting that information. Here, as per the pay scale, that TCS gives you around 550K, but here it gives you around 525K. So there is no much difference here. So in this way, you can see various websites are giving you the various informations of all the companies here. Okay, now let's see about what does the LinkedIn say. Come on, man. Okay, this guy has done something here. Tell us about your role and salary. Okay, let's leave this. Let's continue with our topic there. Now let's see the course content which we are going to handle here. So here we will be using various tools. Okay, so all the tools are basically the open source tools. So here, to work on the various open source tools, you need to understand the operating system which they work on. So first thing is, we have two types of operating systems which have been widely used. One is the Linux based operating system, and there's a Windows based operating system. In Windows based operating system, the more challenging thing is that you need to pay the license for that operating system which you are using, whereas a Linux based operating system, it is completely free to use. Okay, so here the licensing fees would be very drastically decreased here. Yes, Linux also gives you the uh, uh, what you call, if you need a support on your operating system, then again you need to pay a license, you need to buy the license from the Red Hat. Okay, but if you don't want any kind of support from the respective team, then you are free to use the enterprise edition of your Red Hat also. Okay, Red Hat is a Linux based operating system. So here, what are all the tools which we are going to work will be on the Linux based operating system. So if you don't know what is the Linux and how does it work, you will not be able to work on the various tools. So first we try to focus on the Linux operating system. Okay, so we start from the very sketch. What do you mean by Linux? How did it came to existence? What are the various commands? How do you administer the Linux operating system? That would be covered initially. Okay, so we give the introduction to Linux, like what are all the things associated to Linux here, and we try to understand what do you mean by virtual box, how do you install the virtual box, and inside that virtual box how do you do the installation of your Linux. And we speak about the CentOS and Ubuntu installation. We cover two operating systems, two flavors, that is CentOS and Ubuntu. CentOS and Red Hat both are a similar softwares. Okay, similar kind of operating systems. Okay, so if you understood how to work on CentOS, then Red Hat is also a similar kind of thing, just labeling is different. Rest everything is the same. CentOS is a community-based operating system, and whereas Red Hat is a enterprise-level operating system. Next, we speak about the basic commands. We speak about VI editors, and there are multiple things which are required here. We speak about the user and group administration. So this is a very important thing which you need to understand. And we speak about networking and troubleshooting. Okay, so if you have problem with any of your operating system or any of your tool, so you should have that ability to understand, is it an operating system level problem, or it is a network based problem, or it is a problem of your tool. You should have that proper hands on. That will also be covered here. Next we will be speaking about boot process and run level. So how actual operating system is started, what is the how does it behave in various run levels. So what is the run level, this kind of things we'll be discussing. Next, automation of using cron job. So if you want to run a specific job or a specific script at a given period of time, how do you do it? Okay, next, administrating the remote system. So what do you mean by administrating the remote system is, one thing you need to remember is you will be working on the servers. That servers are not the physical servers. Physical server is nothing but the laptop or the desktop which you are carrying is in front of you, that is a physical server. And something you connected from a remote way, that is a remote system. So you will be 100% working on a remote machines. So how do you connect to a remote server? What are the problems associated to it? How do you troubleshoot it? If you want to transfer files or you want to download files, you want to do kind of uploads and downloads, how do you do it? That kind of thing has been covered. Next, software management. Okay, how do you install a software in a CentOS based operating system or a Red Hat family? How do you work on a Debian based family? What are the various differences, and how do you configure with respect to your environment? Next is backups and restores. So how do you archive your various application data? Okay, what is archiving, what is the importance of it, what are the various tools for archiving, and what are the various tools for zipping? So this will be discussed here. And then once we are good at all these things, then we will be starting with our actual DevOps concepts. So we'll be speaking about the various things, like how it have come into the picture. Okay, what is the history, what is the life cycle? Okay, what are the various models of your software development? All this will be covered. So what are the shortcomings of those models, and how it gave birth to the DevOps, and what is the life cycle, and various terms like continuous testing, integration, release, deploying, monitoring, and application, etc. will be understood here. What are the various terms, what are the tools of those respective things will be understood here. And we'll start with Ansible, the configuration management tool, and we'll be speaking about a monitoring tool called Nagios. Okay, there we'll be trying to install Nagios server, Nagios client, and I'll explain you how to write a custom plugin for your Nagios application monitoring. Okay, next we'll be speaking about the source code management called Git. Along with we'll be covering the GitHub as well. Okay, next is we'll be speaking about the Jenkins and mistake. And here I will be explaining you how to collaborate with Git, GitHub, and your something called Maven when we speak about the Jenkins. Okay, next we have something called as a Docker, the containerization tool. We'll be speaking multiple things in the Docker. Next we'll be speaking about the AWS as well here. So we have multiple clouds here. We have GCP, we have Azure, we have AWS. AWS being the bigger market share, we'll be focusing on AWS. Okay, so once you're good at AWS, then you will be, it will be easy for you to get hands-on on the rest of the tools like GCP and the Azure. There will be some change of naming convention, but end of the day the core concept would be same. So this is the beauty of your DevOps concepts. Whatever the tool you take, if a single concept can be achieved with a multiple tools, the overall concept would be same. If you speak about Ansible, Puppet, Chef, if you're good at one tool, then you can easily learn the rest of the two tools there. Okay, then we'll be speaking about the Maven, and finally we'll be seeing some user stories. So we will be using all these tools and we'll try to deploy an application, and we'll understand how the actual software will be developed, how it will be deployed, what are the various consequences of those complete environment. We'll get a proper hands-on. How do you use tools at various stages of your DevOps lifecycle? That would be covered with your 4 to 5 user stories there, so that you get a real-time experience of all these tools. Okay, so this is what I'm going to cover here. So with this I end my session. So let me know if you have any questions so that I can answer you.
How many days a week we'll be having this class?
Technically, it is a 45-day course. Every hour, every day, 1 hour of class. So here, my concept, my way of doing is, let's say I have taken a session today, and if you have any doubts, I'll be prioritizing the doubts in the next session, then taking the next class. So if you have any doubts, I'll take the priority of clearing your doubts, then I'll go with the next day session. Again, it depends on the way we go through. If you are good, if you don't have any doubts, then we will be completing in the given period of time, else it may take some more time. So we have a deadline of 45 days.
So we'll be having all 7 days class?
No, we'll be taking 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, 1 hour each.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, hi, this is Vamsi. Suppose if we miss a class or something, and then do we get any recording sessions?
Yes, we'll be sharing you the recordings as well as the that respective days notes as well.
Oh, awesome. And one more thing. So apart
Yeah.
from this, and then if we want to try, like if we want to do like everyday testing scenarios or something, and then what will be the source for us?
Source is like, I'll be explaining you how to install a virtual machines, and you can play around with the concepts which I'm going to teach you on your own machines.
In our own missions.
Your own machines.
Okay.
I'll guide you how to configure, how to install all those softwares, and I'll share you the respective links, and I'll guide you to get the complete setup.
Okay. And one
As
more
it,
thing which you
yes.
have mentioned, like some of the tools, if we are good in some tools, and then it's gonna be awesome. Suppose like if you
Mm,
are teaching us like
mhm.
Jenkins and like Zit, and then if I am good, like if I feel like if I'm good at something else, and then what gonna be like you are teaching
Uh,
like yeah,
See,
go ahead.
there are two things here. One, the beauty of DevOps is if you're good at cloud, or you're good at Jenkins, or you're good at Git, or you are specifically good at Ansible. So here you have that independent roles also. There might be companies who will be looking for the Ansible developer, Puppet
So
developer, Chef
you
developer.
will be covering all those.
No, I'll be covering only Ansible.
Okay, only answer. That's all. Yeah,
Ansible.
thanks.
Okay. So that, see, that's what the beauty is. If you're good at one similar tool, if you speak about configuration management tool, we have these three major tools: Ansible, Puppet, Chef. Ansible is written
Okay,
as Python, and Puppet and Chef are written in Ruby. Okay, the core part, the 80% of that would be a similar thing. Okay,
okay,
it's similar, like, if you speak about a Samsung mobile and you speak about a Motorola mobile, end of the day, that is an Android based operating system. So if you have proper hands-on on any of that mobile, then rest of the things would be same. The UI look and feel would be something different. The core concept would be same in all the things. So that is what here you can do it. So you can fit as a specific individual, a developer, or specific tool master, or you can work as overall all the tools. So that is the beauty, where you can stick to either one tool, or you can work as a overall lead. Okay, so what I prefer personally is try to learn all the tools which I'm going to cover, so that you will be having more dependency. If you are working as an Ansible developer, or you are becoming a cloud architect, then your work would be limited to that. But when you become a
okay,
DevOps engineer, then you will be having a lot of hands-on, and you will be having more grip, and you will be more valuable when compared to a individual uh, cloud architect, or Ansible developer, or a Puppet developer. So we'll be having more value there in the market.
okay. And so, which are your teaching like Ansible, and then we'll get the end to end process, right? Like even scripting as well, or like completing, like which are like
uh,
to find the bugs or something.
I'll be covering most of the topics. See, when you speak, especially when you speak about Ansible, okay. So if you professionally go with Ansible, the company, they give you a 2 day complete course, 2 to 3 day complete course, which would be 8 hours each. Okay. There also they will not teach you 100%. They will be covering you 70 to 80%, and they will be charging you around 20 to 25,000 for that respective session. Okay, but here we are not going to charge that much. So we will be covering as much as topics we can cover, because if you speak individually, we have 8 to 10 tools. And especially when you speak about AWS alone would be a 45-day course, which is not possible for me to cover. So this will, if I teach 100% each and every tool, this course would be more than 6 months of time. So that's practically not possible for either of them. And the fees would be something different for this. So you can calculate what would be the individual fees for each tool. That will not be in our control. So that is one limitation, that we cannot cover 100% of the tools. Yes, we will give you that confidence that you can work on all the tools at any given level.
Okay. So do we get support after after completing the course? Like if we got a job or something, and then if you want to come back, either to check the sessions, either like have some doubts on the prod, like do we get any support from you guys?
No. What we basically do is, the way which we handle here is, I prioritize to the doubts of the previous session. Until and unless you don't have any doubts, I don't continue with the other session. So here I give a 45-day of support anyhow, and post that I'll be giving a buffer time of 1 week or 2 weeks. Then I'll be handling 1 or 2 sessions based on the requirement, the doubts you have, been what all the things I have taught you. But your live scenarios, issues, we can't handle. Yes, I can discuss with you, I can give you an idea how things work, but I can't take a session, share your screen, and help you to do it. That we don't
Yeah.
encourage. But I can give you assurance that that day will not come. You need my support to share your environment and get things done, provided
Okay.
you give me that effort, time, and practice. uh, you will be done. You will not having my requirement there. Only thing
Okay.
required is the time, the effort from you. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else?
So if we started the class, and then what would be the time?
Probably the time would be 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time. Okay. So another probable slot can be somewhere 8:30 to 9:30. So based on your people's requirement, you can see if majority of them are happy with either of the time. So based on the slot, we'll be taking the session. So you can speak with your respective Spock. He will guide you in understanding the timings and deciding what would be the best thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
So are you in India? Are you in India?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Fine. Anything else? Purnima, Koteshwar, Rao, Gopal, Brahmatej. Message here. I have 126 good to buy or go with 2. What I suggest you is rather than using buying a 226 SSD, I suggest you to buy 1 TB of HDD. Okay. Well, let me show you my configuration so that you get an idea. Okay. So here I have the 512 SSD here, which I have what I've done is I have used 150 GB for OS and rest for my classes. Okay, and rest whatever the other data is there, I have put it in my HDD. Okay, so what I suggest is if you have a 128 GB, then give it for OS alone, and you put in 1 TB or 2 TB SSD, sorry HDD, and make a partition and start using it. Okay, that will not hamper your speed. So I don't suggest you to buy SSD, but if you feel that no, I don't want any kind of lag there, 100% there will not be a lag here, that would be fast. But when compared to SSD, yes, there would be 15 to 20% of lag here on the writes and reads. But I suggest you to be cost effective and not to put much of the cost. So if you buy 240 GB of SSD, that would be the price of your 1 TB HDD. So if you have enough amount, then you can go with the required one. But my suggestion is go with 1 TB HDD, make a partitions and put all your virtual machines like these, all these things in your HDD. That will be good for you. Yeah, anything else?
No, that's it from my end.
Okay. So if you want the course content, all these things we'll be sharing in the drive. You can speak with your Spock, and if you have any more questions, he will help you out. Okay. So most probably we will be starting the batch from the Monday. Okay. So I hope let's meet on the Monday, same time. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.